Welcome to this explainer. We're living in a moment where AI is it's evolving at absolute lightning speed. We're moving from systems that simply parse text prompts to models that are capable of fully autonomous spatial reasoning. It's a real game changer. But here's the thing. There is a massive difference between just experimenting with off-the-shelf multimodal models and actually engineering them to execute really specific, complex workflows. So today, we're exploring a source that serves as a literal roadmap for doing exactly that. We are stepping into the driver's seat of visual AI to unpack an instructional framework titled Architecting Custom Vision Agents. Let's dive right in and decode the future of AI building. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to actually build your own vision agent? Up until recently, most of us have been, well, purely consumers of artificial intelligence, right? We log into a platform, feed it an image, and just kind of hope the generic model returns a decent output. But the source material we're exploring today completely challenges that dynamic. It asks if you are prepared to move beyond simply using a generic, one-size-fits-all AI, and instead step confidently into the role of a creator. Think of it like the difference between buying a mass-produced vehicle and engineering a custom machine tuned specifically for the exact terrain you want to conquer. It requires a total shift in mindset, from being a passive user to an active builder. The exact roadmap we're unpacking comes straight from Anand Vemula over on his channel Tech Horizon. Anand's guide, literally titled Architecting Custom Vision Agents, provides a highly specific roadmap for making this transition. And he isn't just throwing around high-level concepts here. He's laying out a highly practical methodology. Even the name of the channel itself, Tech Horizon, really sets the perfect stage because we aren't looking at the technology of yesterday. We are looking out at what is actively becoming possible right now for everyday developers and creators who want to integrate visual reasoning into their own applications.
Okay, before we start building, we need to get our definition straight. What exactly is a vision agent? Broadly speaking, it's an AI system designed to process, analyze, and act upon visual data and inputs. But for anyone closely following the AI space, the real technical leap here is how this bridges traditional computer vision, like your basic object detection or segmentation, with incredibly sophisticated agentic decision-making frameworks. We're talking about an autonomous, or at least semi-autonomous software entity that doesn't just slap a label on a picture. It actually processes those pixels, evaluates the context using a large multimodal model, and then executes an action loop based entirely on that visual understanding. It's that agentic reasoning layer that makes this whole thing so remarkably capable.
And that brings us to the real heavy lifting words of Anand's title, architecting and customizing. This is absolutely crucial to understand. This isn't just about making API calls to a standard model. It is the deliberate act of designing and building a tailored AI system from the ground up to solve specific problems. Customizing means you're getting your hands dirty. You're tailoring the model weights, curating specialized datasets, or engineering really complex system prompts to handle those tricky edge cases that off-the-shelf models completely fail at. You're not just using a generic model. Actually, scratch that. You're not using a generic model at all. You're engineering it to read highly specific architectural schematics, or maybe to detect microscopic defects on a super niche manufacturing line. All right, so we know the what, and we definitely understand the why. But here is the million-dollar question for anyone looking to innovate in the AI space right now. How do you actually build it? How do you go from just understanding the theory of visual processing to actually sitting down and engineering a multimodal pipeline that works reliably in production? Well, we know from Anand Vemula's guide that moving from a basic theoretical prototype to a fully functional agent requires a very strict methodological approach. Bringing these custom AI builders to life really happens step by step. Step 1, conceptualize the custom agent. Before you write a single line of code, you have to clearly define your visual constraints and the necessary action space. Step 2 involves following the core insights from the Tech Horizon guide. This means navigating the complexities of your data pipelines, choosing the right foundational vision language models for your specific use case, and setting up precise API integrations. And finally, Step 3, architect the vision. This is where you physically connect your visual models to your logic frameworks, train on your custom visual data, establish robust action loops, and actually deploy the agent to start processing and reacting autonomously. That's the whole shebang. Think of the source material from Anand Vemula and Tech Horizon as essentially providing your core AI building blocks. When you're architecting a system from the ground up, the absolute quality of your toolkit is what bridges the massive gap between complex machine vision research and functional real-world deployment. These concepts take the highly complex and honestly often intimidating world of multimodal integrations and break it all down into an architect's toolkit. It makes custom AI development highly accessible, but only to developers who are truly willing to master the underlying framework. Which brings this whole explainer right back to you and your own tech stack. So what are you going to build? Will you integrate custom vision to monitor precise safety protocols on a factory floor? Or maybe build an agent that autonomously pre-screens complex medical imagery? The blueprints are literally right there in your hands, the frameworks are accessible, and the potential applications are just about limitless. So how will you bridge the gap between sight and action in your next project? Thanks for joining me for this explainer today. Keep building, and I'll see you next time.